Hey everybody, it's me, Beefy, and today I'm gonna be doing something a little bit different. Just a few days ago, Pokemon Sun and Moon released, and my friend and I went out to get it day one. So instead of doing an actual review of the game, I thought I'd just give you some of my first few impressions and thoughts about it. With that said, let's begin. So from the surface, it kind of seems like Pokemon Sun and Moon are the exact same to all the other Pokemon games, but actually it proves to be quite different. The developers made a lot of small changes that add up to make this game feel completely different and really refreshing to the series. One of the biggest changes and most obvious is that the game is set in a new region, of course, and this time around it is the Alola region, which is heavily based upon Hawaii. Now this influences a lot of the game, from the characters you come across and talk to, the world and environment around you, and a lot more. The biggest change to this game is that there is no Pokemon League, so this means no gyms, no gym leaders, no badges, no Elite Four, none of that. Instead, this game has a thing known as the Island Challenge, in which you go around to the 4 different islands and take part in 8 different trials. Now each trial has its own trial captain, but you don't actually fight them in a Pokemon battle, they're just kinda there to instruct you on what to do. But at each trial there's a challenge you do. This goes from anywhere from being a scavenger hunt to something like a knowledge chest, and after you complete that challenge you fight the totem Pokemon at that trial. Now the totem Pokemon is basically just like a stronger version of a regular Pokemon you might find in the wild. So after you beat the totem Pokemon of that trial, you go on to the next trial of that island. And after you complete all the trials on the island, you fight the Kahuna of that island, which is kind of like a member of the Elite Four. You just face them in a Pokemon battle. And then once you beat them, you go to the next island and basically do the same thing. So as you can see, the Island Challenge is like the Pokemon League, but it's still different enough to make it feel like its own thing, and it does take a little bit getting used to, but after like the first or second trial, you're like, okay, I get the concept. I actually really like that the developers did this. It really gives the Alola region its own identity and makes it really feel different from the rest of the games in the series. Another new addition of Pokemon Sun and Moon are the Z Crystals. By completing each trial, you will earn a Z Crystal. Now you can give these Z Crystals to your Pokemon, and it will make a certain type of move super powered. However, you can only use this once per battle, so you can't just keep using it over and over. That would just make the battles way too easy. So it's kind of like the Mega Evolutions from X and Y, except, I don't know, I don't like the Z Crystals as much. They don't really add too much to the game, and there's always like this really big animation, like 20 or so seconds when you use one, so it just kind of like drags on. It's like, okay, just use the move and keep going. So yeah, they're alright, they don't harm the game, and they are cool the first couple of times, but eh. These aren't the only new additions though, of course. One of the other components of the game that's been tweaked is the battle system. So whenever you're fighting a Pokemon, the game will show you which of your moves are effective against it and which you probably shouldn't use. Now, as I'm not a hardcore Pokemon fan, this was a really nice addition because I don't have all these type advantages and disadvantages memorized. And how could I forget the new Pokemon? There are quite a few this time around. There's some you're gonna like more than others, but everybody should find their favorites. There are also these new Alola form Pokemon. So basically, these are Pokemon from the Kanto region that have gotten like brand new look. So for example, Rattata, instead of being purple, is like black, and Vulpix, from being like the brown orange, is like an icy blue. So not only do they look different, but they also are like a different type. So Rattata, like I mentioned before, is now a dark type instead of a normal type. So I thought these were really cool and neat additions, and it's pretty awesome to see how Pokemon we've known for 20 years can feel completely different and new. One of the weakest parts of the game to me was the story. I didn't really find it that compelling, and I wasn't really that interested in it at all. And the new baddies this time around, Team Skull, are, okay, they're made to like be really stupid and that's supposed to be funny, haha, but I found it more just like annoying, it's like, just really dumb. There were also a lot of cutscenes in this game, like a bunch, like, before each trial, after each trial, in between the trials, every time you go to a new island and leave one. And I get it, there has to be like, you have to kind of tell the players where to go, but there just seemed like a lot, and every time they happened, I felt like my game was just getting like paused, like I had to stop to see what's happening in the story. So yeah, there seemed like way too many, and I really didn't like it. But speaking of the cutscenes, they do look nice. It's not like I was watching something that just looked horrible, so you know, there was that part that I enjoyed of them. Not only are the cutscenes nice, but the entire game for that matter. The colors really pop and everything just looks really nice and polished, and the Hawaiian influence really shines through. and the same can be said about the music for that matter. Now, one part of the game that does falter is the frame rate. In many of the battles that I had, and the cutscenes too, the frame rate just gets really sluggish and slow and it doesn't look so great anymore. I heard that if you're playing on the new Nintendo 3DS, most of these frame rate issues are gone, so I mean, if you have a new 3DS, good for you, but I mean, the frame rate drop didn't ruin the game for me, it was just kind of an annoyance. In the end though, I really have been enjoying Pokemon Sun and Moon. Nintendo did a great job of refreshing the Pokemon series and making these games really stand out from the others. If I had to give the game a score, I'd probably give it an 8.5 or 9 out of 10. New additions such as the Island Challenge, the new region, the new Pokemon, the tweaked battle system have all made my time with the game great. But the not-so-great story, the one-dimensional villains, and the frequent frame rate drop have put a damper on my experience. So overall, these games are a wonderful addition to the Pokemon series, and I think you should get them. Now, if you don't mind, I got some more Pokemon battles to attend to.